Hey everybody, this is Drew from Drew Story News. Welcome to another episode of the Drew Story News podcast. And today, like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm doing things different from my main channel. On my main channel, I talk about a lot of high profile events and cases, current events, health, even sports sometimes. But on the podcast channel, I'm going to be talking about very specific things. It's not for everyone, but it is growing its own following because of the content. It's a lot of information that's pushed out of the mainstream because the mainstream platforms, there's algorithms that want us thinking about nothing, talking about nothing important, constantly dumbed down and distracted. And there's a lot of light workers out there. There's a lot of us out there that are coming out and providing awesome information, spreading light, spreading wisdom. And this person that I'm going to interview next is one of those people that came across my path. Her name is Virginia Ruth. She's a Reiki teacher. She's a Reiki healer, rather. She's a yoga practitioner. She's many things, and she'll introduce herself a little bit. But I came across, I saw one of her videos where she talked about a split.
This split is about people deciding whether they're sovereign beings and they are the creator of their reality, or choosing to be fear programmed for the rest of their life. That's it. That's the split, and it's happening now. You don't even have to believe in spirituality. You just have to recognize that you can use psychology as even the way to explain the creating of your reality. Is one person has a goal, they go and get it, and the other person allows the outside programming from the media, from the fear porn, to tell them that they have to stay at home for the rest of their life. Yeah?
And that's very true. There is a split in society. If you haven't seen it already, because of all that's going on in the world today, the virus, the agendas, the climate, people are splitting into two different directions. One direction is people who are going higher. They're raising their vibration. They're writing that book that they never wrote. They're leaving that old dead-end job and they're pursuing a different career path that they always wanted to do. They're making health changes, cleaning up their diet to be healthier. They're exercising more. They're just living their life on a higher vibration. You do see a lot of people waking up. And she also refers to this time as the Great Awakening. The Great Reset. And it's true. A lot of people are raising their vibration. But the split, there's people who are going in a different direction, down in a lower vibration. And these people want to be obedient and compliant. And they want to walk around like this. And they want to go get this. And, they want to do things in the fear program, and they want the protections that this illusionary matrix gives them. They want to be safe. They want to feel safe. So they're making decisions in this fear program, and, they want to be safe, and they want to follow the rules, and they want to live a life of obedience. It's slavery. They want to live a life of obedience, and they want you to be obedient as they are too. So you're seeing the shift in society. And, people are arguing. People are disagreeing more than ever because of this paradigm shift. People are changing and going in different directions, but one is up. One is further into the matrix. And there's people who are speaking on this very brilliantly. And she was one of them that had a lot to say. So we'll be talking with her. There's a spectrum to this. Not everybody's raising their vibration like, meditating on mountains. And not everybody who is obeying the laws are programmed and just brainwashed. There's a spectrum, a lot of people, and it's unfortunate that they do this, but a lot of people are getting this because they believe that, oh, well, I'm going to need to travel. I have family overseas, and that was very unfortunate. It was a bad decision because that's something that probably can't ever be enforced. There's too many legal barriers in several countries, but they put it out there to trick people into running out and getting it. Well, I don't want to not be able to travel, not be able to see my family. And there's people who, they obey the laws because they just don't want any trouble. I'll wear this because I want people to feel comfortable, and I want people to feel safe. But it's compliance, it's obedience, it's on a lower vibration. And there's people who are aware of their power and their sovereignty and their rights and their abilities to discern things for themselves. And they see the agendas, they see the programming, they see what is happening. Not everybody that doesn't want to do this. Like, some of them are unsavory people, and the media loves to put the camera on them as the face of people who don't want to wear these or do that. And it's a lie. They're tricking all of us. They're trying to paint a narrative of this is bad, this is good. So they put a lot of the unsavory, politically charged people who are just belligerent out front as the face of the opposition, and they're full of tricks and painting narratives. But they're hiding the real awakening, which is that people see what is going on, and there is a shift, there's a split, and there's lots of people who are not gonna get pushed in your face in the algorithms. So it is my pleasure to talk to Virginia Ruth, and I'm gonna plug her in just 1 second. Before we begin the talk, let's go ahead and see another quick clip.
They're making you feel like, oh, I don't care about other people if I don't get this. But your number one priority should be your own health. And you can't trust what they're putting inside of you right now. When were we ever able to trust these pharmaceutical companies? They make money off of cancer. They make money off of AIDS already. There's been cures. There's been alternative therapies for hundreds of years, since freaking dawn of time. Yeah, we should be more in alignment with our plant energy. We should be more in alignment with our own energetical frequency, which is able to change the health of our own body, change the health of another person's body. We don't need to turn to these chemicals anymore. This is part of the awakening. And again, they want to repress that. They want you to be unhealthy. They don't want you to go outside, right? They know if you don't get sunlight, you stay inside, you're depressed. If you're depressed, you're more likely to get ill. If you don't socialize, you're more likely to be depressed. You're more likely to get sick. It's about energy. It's about vibration.
So, yeah, powerful. There's a lot of people out there giving you that channeled, not, coming from the experts or anything like that, that channeled from above, that channeled message of truth that you're not going to hear on a lot of mainstream platforms, because the message goes against the programming they have in store for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her in. She's on the call. 1 second, guys. So how you been?
And how is it there at the moment? I'm really well, thank you. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Guatemala.
Guatemala, okay. Yeah, I can hear you fine. I envy you being in Guatemala. I'd much rather be in Guatemala than New York.
When I spoke to you last time, you said you were organizing some travel, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was away for about a month. It was beautiful. I was in the mountains a little bit, mainly in the States, but I needed it. But yeah, if you're ready to go, we'll jump right into it. So, we met over social media, but, just to give you a brief introduction, you are a level 2 Reiki healer, a LOA coach, and a yoga practitioner. Like, how did you get into that life work?
That's a million-pound question, I think. Yeah, my challenges in life has brought me to this path of then wanting to help others get to their true identity, you know. When I was younger, like my late my late teens, early 20s, I suffered from depression, anxiety. I was a bit of a party animal, and that started taking its toll. I was always like of that mindset, like I don't really know how everyone's enjoying this life so well, because to me the world seems a bit messed up and doesn't anybody care. And so I kind of escaped that a little bit. I hated being told what to do when I was younger. I just didn't accept the system, basically. And so through a lot of trial and error and recognizing that partying was never going to be the answer, and that was leading to more anxiety, more sadness, then I found a lot of spiritual practice. I got in touch with a really amazing book called Conversations with God. This was after a time of questioning whether God even existed, whether this was, my mum had turned to like religion, and I'd never been brought up with that. That made me start questioning things. And I found that amazing book, Conversations with God. And then from there, like many other books along my way, got into yoga, doing that in my bedroom just by myself, like a little CD. And then I started being a Pilates teacher. I went to Goa and my yoga training. And then from there, that's when my meditation practice got locked in. And then from there, that is the meditation really that brought me online to a lot more spiritual powers, recognizing that we have a huge power to direct our reality. Like I'd had dabbled in the law of attraction and stuff before that, but until I started a regular meditation practice, I didn't realize how powerful we really are, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pain. I think this is for everybody, anyone on the spiritual journey. It's pain that brings you here. It's struggle, it's suffering. And then recognizing that pain, that suffering taught you so much, and that you can now share with other people on the journey that it doesn't have to be that way, you know? That you're more powerful than what society is.
I definitely relate to that.
More.
And I definitely relate to the partying at one point. And that was an issue. Can you describe what were your conversations with God like?
So it's a book called by Neil Donald Walsh. It's quite big in the spiritual community. A lot with that was kind of one of the first books that really changed things for them. And Neil Donald Walsh was just, again, he was struggling in life. He was going through a lot of pain. I think he'd even been homeless.
Yeah.
Lost a relationship or something. Started writing a letter. I think he was actually writing a letter to himself, or something along the lines of like, why is life like this? It's always like you've got to that point where you're questioning so hard that there needs to be an answer. And he started writing, and then automatic writing started happening. Words were starting to be written on the page that he wasn't actually direct. So he was channeling. He didn't realize. And what happened is he started having a conversation with God. And what was explained in those books, he'd been brought up very religious, like strictly religious, and was just disheartened by it because of the control. And were it not actually helping in his life. And then
about the religious control?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And when did you start, and why? You kind of explained it a little bit, but why did you feel the need to start, just sharing so much of yourself, your wisdom, your, doing your videos, which are excellent. By the way, they're very inspirational, and they're very just sagacious spiritual wisdom that you give people. What started that for you?
I think wasn't really a choice. I think when you start to tune even more deeply into your intuition, it's from meditation, is the guides, that higher self, you as a higher aspect communicating to you in this physical reality. I mean, you got to do this. You've got a message to share. And often with my videos now, it's, yeah, of course, I have my own knowledge, but the more that you connect this light with this light of source energy, the more that's going to communicate through you. Many more people are recognizing this now. And I can't take the the compliment that you gave me, really, because this is just me being more connected with what connects all of us together, that energy.
So on the subject of, waking up, spiritually waking up and just raising your vibration, and, you seem to have, a light in you that wants to help people. What would you say about what's going on in the world today right now with this, with the virus and, the state of mind that everybody's in right now? What would you say about that?
I think it looks so bad, and everything seems to be falling apart, but actually it has to break down for us to come to something better, something new. This is the way the entire universe works, isn't it? This whole thing of nature, because we can't have the change without the destruction. And actually, when we recognize that, the destructive part doesn't have to be painful. It can be exciting. There's part of me, like, the depressed days, the sad days, when you recognize and see so many people being programmed by this propaganda. Yeah, of course, it's a virus, but it's much deeper than that. The programming, the weather disasters, the shootings, the killings, all of these things, the food shortages, everything all going on at 1 year.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence.
What do you think,
this reality power?
I try to
everything
communicate.
They can to stop this awakening, but they can't. People are waking up, and this is what it's about a virus. It's about people awakening to their power to direct their lives via their vibration, via manifesting, via setting intentions. And the more people wake up to this, the less controlled the less they're able to control us. So they will do everything in their power to keep us in fear, because otherwise they haven't got anything left.
Right.
But this is like they're still fighting a losing battle, because this time has been prophesied for, I think, thousands of years. This great awakening. I'm in the land of these native people right now in Guatemala.
Yeah.
Mayan calendar.
Right.
The change, the great change. There was going to be an event, and we've had it now.
Right.
Now we're living out these times.
I love your outlook, because it's positive. I talk to a lot of people, like-minded people, and the message is often bleak. But, I like that you say they can't stop it. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of things being pumped at us, and there's a system of fear, and there's a lot of programming. It's almost like a zombie apocalypse. You see people walking around with the face masks. You see people just accepting the program. How do you wake people up? How do you communicate what's going on right now to people who are just locked in programs?
This is something I've recognized, and it took me a little while, is we're not here to wake people up. We're here to help people that are awakening. We're here to help people on their next cycle. So I'm not an enlightened being. I'm not fully awakened. This goes in cycles. The journey isn't finished ever, really, until you're all of unity consciousness.
Yeah.
So what it is about helping other people that have already decided or recognized who they are in a small way. There's some people that aren't going to wake up in this lifetime. We have to accept that. They're just ready. They're not ready. And that is the split. Some people will stay in the programming. And the ones that awaken, we're here to create the alternative way of living. this is what's so important right now, though, is people taking action on this higher consciousness that they're downloading now. No point in the whole entire world is all being awakened and knowing exactly what's going on and not taking action to make the alternative.
It's a very refreshing
wake
perspective.
up, they need somebody else to know, you know?
Yeah. I love that perspective. And it's a very refreshing perspective, because there's a lot of people now who are very frustrated because they're trying to wake people up. Family members, they're trying to, just try to shake them and to let them see what's going on. You can't see the agenda that's going on. And you're right. A lot of them can't. A lot of them won't be able to wake up. So what would you say to those people who feel like they've lost friends, family members to the programming? They can't think, they can't reason correctly, and they're getting depressed.
Yeah, it's happened to me as well, people I'm close to. And it is, you look at it in this physical reality from this perspective of people that loved ones, it's really hard. It is sad. You have to accept that emotion. Don't fight that. And you can't always be the esoteric vision. Sometimes you just have to accept your human emotions. And that it is sad. But then allow that emotion to flow through you. Allow that to fuel you to do more light work for the people that are ready. And then you have to look at it as a bigger picture. Is we're all here to play a role. Even the people, the one, when we see it in this physical reality, it's narcissists that use money and power, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the as above, so below, the as above version of that is energetic entities that like to feed off of fear. And we are light beings, right? So when you look at it in this way, when we look at it as above, from above, we're not even separate from those dark entities. Everything is one. All consciousness is one. And we're here playing a role, right? We have past, we have future lives. We have many lives in this lifetime. And we choose to come into our lifetimes before. I'm a huge fan of Dolores Cannon's work. She's gone
Dolores
so deeply into past life regressions that you can't even deny. Dolores Cannon, you can't even deny it, because there's so many people that she's regressed that have come back with the same accounts, the same information.
Wow.
About what happens in your life between. It's not just one, it's thousands of people, thousands of souls that have come through in these channelings and saying the same things. So we don't just this one lifetime. This lifetime that we're leading now is just like a blink of an eye. So when you see it like that, and that we're all just playing our roles, and that maybe it's not their turn to be an awakened soul, the next time it might be, then you can kind of let go of that need for every single family member to wake up, for every friend to wake up, because they're playing their role this time to not awaken one. And that's their lesson for this lifetime. It's all part of the evolution.
However, you did say something about in a video about being triggered. Sometimes these people can trigger us,
oh yeah, 100%.
When we know things and we try to share the information, they go in on that information in their programming, and they say things to antagonize and trigger. What do you say to that when that happens, and how should you deal with that? Conspiracy theorists, you this, you that.
So I was going through the stage when this all first went down, it's like having little freaking comment arguments on Facebook. Like your whole energy is about, like, keyboard warrior. Warriors, being a keyboard warrior for life. It's a waste of your energy. If any interaction you're leaving feeling drained, or like you need to have the last word, it is a waste of your energy. And this is the 3-dimensional consciousness, right? And I'm guilty of it myself, but I just attach myself closer and closer to the mark now. And then I recognize, just walk away or leave it. And the video that you were referring to, actually, I'm quite proud of myself, because I didn't go full on keyboard warrior. I just let it be. I actually reacted in a way more neutral way than I would have this time last year. But the reason I actually even made that video is because I was so confused about it, because I was actually sharing just such positive information that I was like, really, it's going so deep now, programming, that you can be triggered from
It's
post
true.
about gratitude. Like,
I'm learning to deal with that. I'm still learning to deal with that, because it's something to be said of, like, just being in touch with information and wanting to help people with that information, and the same people that you want to help, they're attacking you because they don't understand. So it's it's very what's that?
Within them,
Yeah.
It's the wounded child within them. They haven't identified themselves. Their anger is not at you.
Right.
It's more about them not looking at themselves as yet.
Right. What do you think about, and I'll try not to say the word, the jabs, and
I just tried to make a YouTube video about this today as well. That's how.
Oh yeah.
Well, how do I even talk about this? I'm not allowed to say the word.
Yeah.
Strange time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my intuition straight away, without even looking at any information, any factual information, my intuition says, do not do this. Right. And I've learned from 3 years of meditation, near enough meditating every single day, to trust my intuition when it's telling me something very clearly, whether they can put all the facts they want in the world in front of me. And if my intuition is telling me no, then I'm going to listen to that.
Right.
So that would be my number one reason that I won't be, partaking in that.
It destroyed that, by the way. Our ability, we do have that ability. We have strong intuition.
Detaching us.
What's that?
Detaching us from our intuition.
Yes.
That is the societal programming number one, is detaching us from our intuition.
Intuition, to believe the experts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you see now, there's people who cannot think clearly, correctly, or reason, because they're so dependent on the system now. They don't know how to search within. Yeah. They don't know how to check their intuition, their higher self. They are dependent on following the experts. And this is why there's a disconnect. What would your advice be for someone who is, a person, high vibrational person, who's dealing with family members, either bullying them to do it or saying that they're going to do it themselves? Like, what would you say to those people?
How to deal with that? How to deal? Well, I think if you're a spiritual person and you're the only one in your family that's kind of that mindset, then you've been in training for this your whole life. You've always felt like the one that thinks differently. So stand true in that. I mean, I've never really had a problem with being different, like having a different opinion. That's never been so much of a drawback for me. I don't know. Maybe it comes from being an only child.
Oh, you're an only child.
Stand your ground. That's it. Yeah. So standing my ground has been maybe something that's I've had since a child. I have to be honest, I don't have the best advice. I don't know.
Okay. Are your parents, I don't know your family, are your parents spiritual people or open-minded people?
My mom's pretty psychic, but she's not like spiritual. She's just naturally psychic, and she tries to pretend that she's not. She has, like, prophetic dreams and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's just Donald Trump and like crazy weird shit. But my mum has never really like tried to force her opinion on me. She's always just recognized. My mum's quite forceful. If she thinks something, she'll say it, or she's always brought me up to stand my own ground. So usually, like, the advice that I give people is from my own life experience. So I don't always have the answer. I don't know. It's difficult. I know it's difficult for people when they have a big family that doesn't agree with them.
You did say something about life experience versus like certifications, and
Yeah.
this world kind of looks for the degrees, who has the degrees and the certificates, and a lot of times it's meaningless.
It so is. Like, this is one thing that really mind boggles me, is because I think about this a lot, is at one time in life, like anyone who made like up a degree, somebody made up that degree and said, this is what you need to pass to get the qualification. There was one person that just once had the authority and said, this is how you need to learn. These are the facts we want you to know. If you don't know them, you don't pass.
Right.
But who gave that person the authority? Who made Reiki? Who made energy healing? Somebody somewhere got a download from God or source energy from meditation and goes, oh, I'm going to try Reiki healing. And then they made their own certification. Right? It's the same with yoga. It's the same with everything in life. So the more that you start to connect to your own inner journey, and the more life experience you have, does it not qualify you to help other people, have a say? Qualifications is one of the I don't know. Like, of course, qualifications are important. Knowledge is important. I'm not saying that don't learn, because you really should learn. But I love learning. I don't do it because somebody else tells me to, or tells me exactly what I should learn and when. I just do my own.
Yeah, it's a rough crowd for that right now.
Scam.
What's that? What did you say?
University is a scam. I think it's a scam.
It's a scam. Oh.
They make so much money off of it for telling you how you should learn. Yeah.
In this country, it's a racket. It's the first thing that gets most young people into debt.
For what?
Yeah.
And it's the first level of indoctrinating you.
Right.
Telling you how you should think. You should only think in this one box and like this, and you shouldn't trust your intuition. It's the first step.
Yeah, that's why you have a lot of educated fools today in society.
They're the ones that are having the hardest time right now. If you had like a really good education and you was really clever, like quote unquote, then you'll have a hard time right now. I've noticed it in like my old friendship groups. I'm glad that I didn't go to university. I dropped out. I'm glad I was a party animal. I'm glad because my mind didn't get boxed up,
Yeah, well, I was a party animal in school. I went to university, but
I'm not saying that everyone, but the are really full on with the whole book learning are having a really difficult time.
Yeah, I do notice that, and I think it's because they're elevated in this system, and they have acquired a certain status. I have this degree, I have this many years of study to this expertise, and they, like you said, they're the hardest to let it go. They're the hardest to communicate with on certain subjects. And that has been an issue, talking to people and getting them to crack their ego, to check their ego,
It all comes from like this city. Like, I don't know in America if it's the same, but like in England, like we have this culture. I mean, I've never been part of it, but like, we'll go to the dinner table, we'll talk about the newspaper and politics. Yeah. And everyone's opinion is actually just what they've read from a newspaper. I read this and you read that, but actually, is it anyone's true opinion at all? No.
Right.
Just regurgitating information that they've read from the newspaper. I read the Guardian. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that was one of my early struggles. When I was a blogger, and then I started doing YouTube. I always had a platform, content creation, and one of the first things I try to do is to show people that the things that they tell you and they show you on TV, it's not always true. And to this day, I don't think a lot of people understand. And it's weird. They do and they don't. They do and they don't.
That's the people that struggle right now is the celebrity watchers, right?
Yeah. And they have become, I've watched them in the last few years become more dangerous. Not all celebrities, but a lot of celebrities are so dangerous right now because, yeah, they're using them to promote this, they're using them to promote that, and now it's dangerous things, you know, very dangerous things. They talk about MK Ultra, mind control, and all that stuff, but whatever, if you subscribe to that or not, it's just dangerous. The level of perfected schemes that they're doing right now, and you have to be vigilant.
In suspicious circumstances after talking out, this doesn't add up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And any celebrity that speaks out suddenly dies.
Yeah. Yeah. Or character assassinated.
Right.
I've seen that. You know, I used to think that I wanted that for myself. You know, stardom.
But I think it's a programming as we're brought up as a child. We all want to be, right?
Yeah. You know, I know better. I mean, I would like success in certain fields, in certain areas, but stardom, I am thankful that I didn't get what I wanted. It's like, I just had no idea. You know,
yeah.
I had no idea. So navigating through the matrix, like, what advice would you give towards, because you give a lot of good advice, whether you give yourself credit or not. What advice would you give towards, like, you know, preserving your energy and not getting triggered by this, not getting triggered by family members who are programmed, not getting triggered? How do you guide yourself throughout this matrix?
Yeah, I think always my first advice for most things is keeping your consistent meditation practice. This is going to keep you connected to something higher. Recognizing that it's not about these little dramas. It's not so small as these little dramas that are playing out. There is a bigger picture. And I think it's recognizing, as much as we're doing good work here, as much as you want to express your higher consciousness into the world, what we have to recognize is the biggest spiritual lesson is everything in our reality is in some way, somewhat a reflection of what's happening inside of you. And when we recognize this,
everything in our reality is what again?
A reflection of what's happening inside of you.
Okay.
God said it the world is you pushed out, right?
Yeah.
So this is I think what many spiritual teachers will say: if you want to change the world, you change yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're getting into keyboard warrior, you're getting into who is the one that can stop it? You.
Right.
You take your energy away from that, and then you look inside of yourself and say, what is it within me that's invited that into my reality? When we start to ask questions like that, then we can find ways that we can resolve shadows that are within ourselves, which will change your experience of this physical world.
Right. I'm just
shadow work over this last year, and I've drastically changed my experience of how I'm experiencing COVID.
Can you describe what that is? Shadow work? I mean, I know, but to people that might be listening and wonder what you mean.
Unresolved issues from the past. This might be trauma related to your parents, might be trauma related to an old relationship.
Yeah.
Anything, but it's going to be tied in with limited beliefs you have, lack of self-love that you have. And once you recognize that things are a reflection, then you can do the work to clear that energy thing in yourself. And a lot of times, actually, just looking at it, revisit the past and recognizing, okay, this is still affecting me. What is it about this that I need to look at, clear, or how can I love myself more? Where am I neglecting myself?
Yeah. Is shadow work like a process? Is something that you're gonna have to do for a while, or is it different for each person?
forever. It doesn't,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
until you're enlightened, and then that's, I think, the way that we experience this physical world. You either ascend or, I mean, when we look at what ascension is, I mean, it's something, a term that's kind of thrown around now in spiritual community. But when you come down to what ascension really is coming to, I think, or what I've learned along my journey, is complete unconditional self-love. And in
Yeah.
that self-love, you like you shed physical body, you become light body without having to actually die. That is enlightenment. It's the ascension process. What's happening right now on this planet is our ascension process is being sped up by the circumstances, but on purpose, because we are the time of the planet where they want more of our physical body to come to the light body. This is the raising of our vibration, raising of our frequency.
Right.
And it's
Right.
actually, it's not about so much. I think it's easier for us to come to this ascension process because it's been ordained. It's in the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the raising of the vibration is being attacked as well. It's being fought.
Yeah, on all sides. Yeah.
You know. And that's something that
Right. Like we're
what's
just
that?
it's always been happening. This reality, from birth, food that we eat, the things that we watch on the television, the advertising, everything is designed to bring us into low vibration.
Lower our vibration, yeah.
It's just getting hyped up at the moment.
Yeah.
And more people realizing that to raise their frequency is one of the, it should be your top priority. It's raising your vibration on a consistent basis.
It should be. It should be, but we live in a programmed society that has a lot of built-in distractions. That said, what would you say about location? So I gave somebody some advice recently, and I kind of regretted it because I don't know where they are spiritually, or sometimes when you speak to certain people, you might be overwhelming them
Yeah.
with what you know, and you got to hold back. But what would you say about people living in big cities like mine, New York, for example? I live in New York, and I know what'd you say?
My honest answer is
Yes, that's the only language I speak.
get out of the city. Get out. Like, honestly, that is to put it bluntly, is what I'd say. But that isn't to say that you can't make little pockets of 5D consciousness within the city. Doesn't mean the community built within the city that is of like-minded people. It's going to be, but actually, like, you're making it harder on yourself. You're making it harder on yourself to raise your vibration, because when you're in nature, half the work is done for you.
Yeah.
Your vibration is naturally higher, but you can still create a high frequency community in the city.
Yeah.
That you can't, and that I can feel that that's what happened. And I've been thinking about this recently, like 5D consciousness. What is it? What is new earth? What's going to happen? What I see is now little communities cropping up. Where I am at the moment is filled with spiritual people. So for the most part, we've just decided, yeah, we're not doing the mask, even though it's mandated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel the mindset that people are on is very similar. So I call this like a consciousness kind of area, like it will grow. But just last month, I was at the Pacific Coast. I was still in Guatemala, and I was teaching yoga at this little surf town, and they were really party.
Yeah.
I got a little, I was doing a bit of partying for a bit because I just got sucked into their whole thing. But everyone there was really enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
And doing the whole mask thing. They were partying every night. They were drinking. But in a way, I could see that was their version of 5D consciousness. They just forgotten about COVID, was just partying. But that was 5D, because that's how they want to live their life. They are living free despite what's going on.
Right.
So for me to say, 5D consciousness is only meditating and eating vegan is narrow-minded.
Yeah. Are you vegan?
No, I'm not vegan. I'm vegetarian, but I'm not vegan.
Okay.
I eat little dairy. I eat eggs, but where I'm at the moment, like the goat lives at the bottom of the hill, and they milk the goat, and they make the cheese up here. Like
Yeah.
it's that close to you. You're that close to your food. The eggs are around the corner, so it's not a factory farmed environment. So what is veganism? Veganism is about the whole movement is about not um, being unkind to animals.
Right.
So when you come back to the land, you start looking at permaculture farming and things like that, the reason to be vegan isn't so predominant in my mind. A lighter diet will help you to be high vibration, of course, but you don't have to be 100% vegan to be high frequency.
Right.
But that's my opinion. It's not the same for everyone, and everyone's body is different. You have to know
Yeah.
your own intuition, because your intuition tells you how you feel the health is.
I vibrated out of it. I only call myself vegan so that people understand. Yeah, I don't eat meat, but I don't eat animals, dairy, meat. I just kind of vibrated out of it. And
well, for vegetarianism as well, it wasn't. Of course, I care about animals. I love animals.
yeah,
An animal lover. I care about the planet. But actually, my decision to become vegetarian was just an energetic thing. It's happened.
yeah.
I feel like eating.
Was it energetic thing you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I followed it up with research and everything like that. So, but yeah. In closing, I mean, I could talk all day. There's like a lot of things I would love to touch on. Um, Words of wisdom for people who are, like the location thing. I kind of feel guilty, but we are in touch with the same thing, and I agree. And that's what I told the person, but I didn't want to startle anybody. But I got to be honest and tell the truth. What would you say? Inspiring, like just for everyone to do to improve their health, raise their vibration where they are right now. If they're in New York, if they're in California, like what advice would you give for all of us to do to just do a little better? No,
It might be too simple an answer for you, but it's consistent meditation. Meditate every day.
meditation.
I mean, the amount of spiritual people I've met, like here, okay, so I'll tell you that about living in a more spiritual community is I've been shocked about how little meditate or how I don't know, I can't see everyone's practice, but I can't say a percentage of the world, but how much percentage of the world do you think meditates every day?
Yeah, I'm guilty of not meditating that much.
This should be your number one thing as being a conscious person, is to connect with source energy every single day. I've just got to do something.
What do you do for me?
You need a bath? Oh, yeah, sí. Okay, gracias. Okay.
What do you do for meditation?
What do I do for meditation?
Yeah.
I do my breath work first, the yogic breath works, pranayama, ultimate nostril breathing, breath of fire. Then I do like a Wim Hof style maybe some days. But
Okay.
the crux of meditation is it's not jazzy. It's closing your eyes and concentrating on your breath for at least 5 minutes every day.
Closing your eyes and concentrating on your breath?
Yeah. I mean, there's many different types of meditation you can do. But if you just start with that, closing your eyes and following the breath, following the rise and fall of your belly, the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the breath coming in and out of your nose.
Okay. Yeah, I admit I got to do more of that in my life. I know that I should, but I'm a busy guy, But
I think
what's
there's
that?
something that Abraham Hicks I love to listen to Abraham Hicks on YouTube. I've never really read their books, but really great advice. It's like, if you're busy, then you should do double the amount of meditation. Well, do double.
Okay.
Because that's going to help you to be
Yeah.
a higher vibration, to be able to take on those tasks from a higher perspective.
Yeah.
To help you to be in tune with your intuition, to make the right decisions in your business, in your work life, your relationship.
Before you go, could you just touch over the split again? Because people are deciding, you said that people are deciding right now if they want to live a life, like slavery.
Slavery, yeah. That is the split. It's a decision.
Yeah.
Like, I know, because when it comes down to it, nobody knows for sure whether the aliens are going to come, the world is actually going to physically split in half, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it can happen.
Yeah.
If you look at it, like, in terms of what is actually happening right now on the planet, the split is the decision that people are making.
And that's putting us into different groups.
Yeah. And it is putting us into different groups. That is the split. It's a decision of how you want to live your life.
Yeah, I definitely see that. There's such a societal change that you almost you can't just talk to certain people anymore unless I know where you're coming from, what your views are. And you can't entertain certain conversations like you used to, because God knows what's going to happen. We're so split, like you were saying. People are deciding different routes.
Right.
But
actually lead to eventually is more unity, because as the people split, then who it is that you're unifying with. It's the people of like-mindedness being able to come together, because there is a clear definition. There's a clear-cut definition. Somebody would say, who does it feel good? I love him on YouTube, very psychic guy, and read on YouTube and Instagram. He was saying, like, the dating is actually really easy now. You just got to ask them what about vaccinations are and what about COVID, and then you know whether you want to date.
Yeah.
Right? You know whether you're on the same page. It's very clear. So this is how to actually unify with the people that are of like-mindedness. And throughout this, I've connected with you, for example, connected with so many people online, spiritual people, through this adversity.
Yeah.
Actions. And there still will be. This is the awakening.
Yeah. And I guess that's the good thing about the times, is like what you just said. You can see, you can connect with like-minded people so much easier now.
Yeah.
But I won't keep you. I have a million things to jump into. Hopefully this won't be the last conversation. Yeah.
On my laptop, it's still on English time for some reason, but I haven't changed it yet. And I've got 222, which is good angel numbers. It means balance. It means harmony in relationships. It means angels with us.
Wow. It's 222 now?
Yeah, and it's been 222 for like ages. I don't know whether my laptop is frozen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 922 here.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very cool. But yeah, it was great talking to you. We'll do this again, and you can send me any links. I know you have the yoga, you have the Reiki. I can put the links up.
Okay, cool. And also have like an ebook that I've just launched, so that would be really cool.
Okay. Yeah, and when I post this, I'll put it all up so that people can see it as well. All right. All right. It was great talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
No worries at all. And are you subscribed to the podcast?
No, you have to send me the links for it.
Okay. There's two. There's a bigger channel and the podcast channel that I just made it smaller. But a lot of people are downloading the podcast for whatever reason. So this is going to go on the podcast channel.
Nice.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Let me know when it's up then.
Will do. You take care.